Good evening, Dota fans, and welcome back to the Collegiate Star League. This is Game 3 of Rutgers University versus University of British Columbia. The winner of this game goes on to claim their share of the $50,000 prize and guarantee themselves at least $2,000 as a team and a spot in the Elite 8. Before we talk about the draft and the last game, we want to talk about the people who make it possible. Bad Gaming is the premier social app of the CSL with tons of functions like boards, calendars, and more to make your clan or team experience the best. Go check them out on the Google Play Store or Apple App Store right now. Twitch, PAX East to West and beyond. CSL wouldn't be what it is without their support, so a big shout out to them. And of course, Aces Republica Gamers, the newest members of the CSL family, who not only create some of the best things to put in and outside of your computer, but are also giving away 3 laptops, $500, and swag bags over on the cstarleague.com website right now for those who make YouTube videos about collegiate esports that are awesome. So check it out. It's your chance to win a sweet gaming laptop. Not a kidding. No bamboozles. Go do it right now. Last but not least, we're hiring a social media manager over at cstarleague.com. You need to go over there if you want to work in esports and apply to be part of the team. Gorgon is my co-caster. He knows what he's talking about. Tell me, well, not sort. I mean, like you're pretty smart. On these, you're not a great player, but like you're super smart about the game. So, using your analytical skills. I'm kidding. He's a pretty good player too.
I'm definitely not my negative 7K player skills. Like the absolute value of my MMR is fantastic. I'll tell you people that right now.
The theoretical value.
It's all about the lines. If I have vertical lines on either side, just perfect.
You know what? It's one of those things where Kipsel is an advisor for a major league team, but she plays at a team. She plays 2K. So it's all about your knowledge, and that's what I want from you right now. Is what does Rutgers? So in the first game, Rutgers played well, capitalized on a couple of small UBC mistakes, and took the game on pace. The second match, UBC started strong, mid-game strong, and finished strong. So if you're Rutgers, what are you looking to do to prevent that from happening?
If you're Rutgers, you're looking to tilt the hell out of UBC because it seemed to work pretty decently last time. The other way around. If you are UBC, basically you want to win by tilting the hell out of Rutgers because it worked really, really well last time. If you're Rutgers, you basically just want to not get tilted. It seems like if they can shake off that last game and actually play at their technical level and play the game that we saw them play the first round of this match, then they should be fine.
That said,
or at least they should have a pretty good chance.
But let's be honest. Even in the lobby chat, Storm was sort of hinting at the fact that they were a little tilted, that he got triggered by the Monkey King pickup even. Now, this is a team that can bounce back, but it's a tough hill to climb to have lost that hard going into an elimination match. So there's no leniency, there's no give here. This is for all the marbles. Rutgers have been scrappers from the beginning, but UBC has just been a top team in terms of execution. They have one of the best supports, in my opinion, in the form of KCY, and Ko then proved that he is also one of the best supports in the league. So if you had asked me earlier in the tournament, who are some of the best supports in CSL? I would have told you Storm and KCY are 2 of my top picks. I've got to throw Ko into that list now because of how well he executed a Monkey King support, like something I've never seen it before. It was just phenomenally well done. And that's got to really weigh heavy on Rutgers going into this thing. So hopefully they can kick it off. Now, their draft, really survivable. So maybe that's a way that they get past a little bit of that tilt, is pick heroes they know give them a chance to not have to be perfect every single time.
Yeah, you can very, very much the Chinese pro Dota influence on the way that Ko as a captain thinks.
Yeah.
Like Monkey King, that position for Monkey King is a Chinese thing. The mid Venomancer with the Maelstrom rush into Dragonlance, that is a Chinese thing. That Magnus is the most contested hero in Chinese Dota right now. These are all strategies that really have been broken out by teams like Invictus Gaming.
Right.
And so if you are looking at UBC as Rutgers, you're probably trying to think like, oh shit, what did I see in DAC? What was Invictus Gaming do? Because UBC is probably comfortable with it.
Yeah, and now let's talk about what UBC is comfortable with. They like initiations, they like Echo Saber heroes with Empower, and they're going to get that in the Juggernaut Magnus combo. Crystal Maiden, one of the highest DPS outputs ultimates in the entire game, and if anybody can find the right placements for that, it's going to be the supports on the side of UBC. That said, I like what Lion brings to the table. I think arguably some of my frustration with Rutgers drafts have been a lack of stun control in these fights, and Lion brings that in spades.
Yeah, I would have preferred to have seen a heal and a stun on every Rutgers draft so far today. I think that they would have had a lot more room for error, and as such, I think that they would have been a little less prone to tilting, because it's very easy to lose control of your just perseverance and your faculties as a player if you make, a 10 pixel movement mistake that costs you 700 gold. With a Lion and a Winter Wyvern and a Baton on your team, that's very unlikely to happen. It gives them a lot more room for error. A lot more room.
Ogre Magi going to get banned out. They don't want to risk the Empower Bloodlust Juggernaut, which just saying those three, just saying it together terrifies me in ways that I can't even understand. Like, I feel like maybe you and I should play a game after this and convince somebody to do it with us so we can do that just for funsies.
That was a really popular type of strategy a little while ago. I want to say right after TI, but maybe, when the Ogre Magi was in his prime and Juggernaut and Magnus were both seen as viable, you would see those three with Vengeful Spirit, so you get the negative armor, boost damage. It's just absolutely just rough to deal with. So, and you'll remember that Rutgers also banned Ogre Magi last time. Like, it's a hero that they don't want to deal with.
So Oracle, tell me about the Oracle pick here. What do you think of that?
Oracle's okay. I don't know. Like, so Oracle is going to be able to dispel Photic Shield, which is really nice, into Abaddon. Other than that, it provides him with some heal. It provides him with a little bit more control in these fights. A Juggernaut, given an extra 7 to 9 seconds with Empower, can do a lot of work, even if he ends up dying from it. I do think the Faceless Void is a pretty good counterpick into the Oracle, right? Because you land False Promise on somebody, Faceless Void is able to throw a Chronosphere up and just soak away the bulk of that bot time. I don't know. Maybe, let's see. If that Faceless Void is a farming carry Faceless Void, then we could see like a Darkseer here, although I know I said that last game as well. It would pair well with the Chronosphere and it would pair well with the Winter's Curse. If that's an off-lane Faceless Void, then it looks like we are going to see a Tinker mid, and then Abaddon off-lane.
Yeah, I think so.
Void farming carry seems to be the most likely path here.
The most likely. I like the Tinker pickup just because it's going to make... They're putting a lot of eggs in Juggernaut's damage output basket. Tinker last pick does counter that to a certain extent, as long as you can get him before he starts the spin.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I totally forgot that Abaddon was... I was just thinking about what their options are.
UBC picks your favorite hero.
I don't love. I really don't like Alchemist right now. He can work out very, very well, but he's one of these heroes that activates at a weird time for most team compositions, feeds a lot of gold if things start to go wrong, and makes life very difficult for your team you have to play perfectly around an Alchemist that's on your own team. Fortunately, UBC, if there's a team in CSL that can play perfectly around timing windows, it's going to be UBC. Like, they're really good at working together.
So Alchemist, very interesting pickup. The Oracle as well. UBC, again, this feels like UBC playing something that they planned. A draft they know that they're good at executing with finesse. And last time it worked ridiculously well for them. So I'm excited to see just how it works this time around. That said, the game is loading. The teams are here. And so are you guys. Welcome to the Collegiate Star League matchup Game 3. This is for a chance, not a chance, a guaranteed trip to the Elite 8, as well as $2,000. Each of these teams hold $500 in their coffers. They are able to quadruple that if they execute correctly. I think I said that right. It might be triple. I don't know. Math is not my strong suit. However, introducing the teams is. So for the dire side, we are going to have Rutgers University, DNE playing the support Lion, RBN playing the mid Tinker, presumably, Tismic playing the Abaddon, Storm Soldat on the Dragon, because that's just what he plays. And up on top, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3 playing the Faceless Void.
All right, and for UBC on the rating side, we've got Q. On the Juggernaut, KCY is prognosticating on the Oracle. Jelly Bean Bob will be playing the Magnetism on Magnus. Big Bun Theory is farming up the Alchemist, and Co is going to be chilling out on the Crystal Maiden.
Good word, prognosticating.
I had something else and I lost it. Just had to do the first thing.
I like it.
You ever like lose saying right in the middle of it?
Are you kidding?
It's amazing I can make it work in this line of...
I do play-by-play. Much of my talking is stream of consciousness. So yes, I know what it's like to lose track halfway through. Last hit denies. Chart up for you. Jelly Bean at 1, 2, 3. Still going back and forth. Dini's here, though. And, he misses the stun. They would have loved to have had a little bit of extra damage just for fun going into lane, but they're not going to get it as Dini just barely misses that one. No hook for him this time, so we'll see how this game goes. Instead, RVN and Storm as they mess around in the middle. RVN, who has the advantage? Let's talk mid lane. Alchemist versus Tinker. Is it an important lane, or is it really sort of irrelevant because Alchemist will just leave eventually anyway?
I mean, it's important because if Alchemist gets ganked, he's going to start fast. Tinker has the advantage thanks to Alchemist is always going to be in range of the laser, and the mischance is really rough on melee heroes. The harass that comes out of Acid Spray will be nice until the bottle's up, but once the bottle's up, I don't think Tinker's going to have any trouble in this lane whatsoever.
Absolutely. So Tinker in a pretty good spot right now and already getting a little bit of help from Storm, who looks like he's hoping to stop Alchemist from getting his items.
Yeah, he's going to look for that courier pick again. Or he actually returned. I guess last game it was the other way around, but... this is always risky into an Alchemist because different Alchemists build that mid lane differently. And Alchemist is very difficult to read in terms of like how much gold you think he has.
Right.
So you could end up like waiting. Some Alks will bring the bottle out literally with the first wave of creeps, and some Alks don't need it because they have everything that they need until the creep is upgraded. You could just end up wasting 3 minutes of your time if you're Storm Soldat. You have to be very patient for this opportunity.
And it looks like he is pot committed to the waste. Ko doing what I love most about Crystal Maidens, working the jungle stack system for the Alchemist. She gets to take the big one. He gets lots and lots of little guys when he comes out. Puts a little bit of... combo. I like it especially because it puts a stressor on the other team, just in the sense of you can't be sure if she's stacking or if she's rotating or where she is at any given time. And she does have a lot of value in not being in lane. As long as she puts some points to Arcane Aura, she's a support without being a support in lane, and it can be pretty powerful. So
the Arcane Aura also pairs really well with the Alchemist, especially into the Tinker, because the bulk of his harass and even a lot of his last hits are going to come directly from that Acid Spray, since the laser is going to make that mischance. The mischance from laser is going to make last hitting pretty difficult for him.
Juggernaut with the big sword here on the bottom lane. Storm still waiting on the courier.
You have to be patient. Like, at this point in time, he might as well just wait till...
You're pot committed, yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough. DNE harassing Jelly Bean Bob. Lots of farm here for the Void. The courier has started to move. Oh, this is big. He left. He said F it.
This is why I was saying you might as well just wait till till 3 minutes at this point, right? If he's going to bring something out, it's going to be soon, right?
So, yeah, KCY makes a nice dive. They got that early Purifying Flames, Virgin's End, a lot of damage output. Up on top, though, they want to make their move as well. So they're going for the counter as Jelly Bean Bob is caught from behind by Storm. DNE is here. No stun available. Charging the trees, goes for the TP. Do they have any way to stop him? They do not, and he'll get to safety. Back to the bottom where KCY now taking damage from Tiz Smick as he is returned from the fray. Level 3 on the Juggernaut. Let's check in on mid RVN. Level 4, Big Bun Theory at 3. And Tinker's still with the better end of the last hits, but obviously with the gold, it's not going to be the normal story you would expect out of mid. Meanwhile, back to bottom where Tismic got rooted. Rotation by KJ. He can't get into spin distance. Phase boots are up. That'll be the end of Tismic. He'll want to go under tower for that. Aphotic Shield pops. Now Storm in a dangerous position. Queen's going to have to back away. They decide not to go for the fight, and they'll just give a couple of harass shots to Storm.
Yeah, cute. here. Not quite able to harass on the Storm so that, but Storm not able to get down here. I mean, he's only level 1 because he picked for the courier for so long.
Right.
If he had Cold Embrace, maybe he saves the Faceless Void there, but even that is a little shady because the Blade Fury was the damage that killed him, and that does go through the Cold Embrace.
So very nicely executed. The guys on the side of UBC playing their game so far. And if we've learned anything from UBC, it is that they lane well and they push out of lanes very, very quickly. So look for that to happen. Ko gets a haste rune, uses it very smartly for some warding to give a little bit of an advantage to Big Bun Theory. RVN comes forward though with those lasers. Lots of harass as he can't do anything except let the acid last hit because of the stupid lasers. God, I hate lasers. Have I mentioned how much I dislike Tinker in real life? Like, if I met him in real life, I'd try to punch him in the nose, but I know he'd laser me, so I'd fail anyway.
Yeah, I would not recommend punching immortal, tech-savvy monster destroyers in the nose.
Clearly you haven't
met me. Even as a helmet over, like, you would punch a metal helmet and break your hand. No part of this plan sounds like it's worth it.
Speaking of plans that may go badly, let's talk about this smoke rotation. They decide to come forward. Tismix with the Abaddon comes out with the shield, wants to try to tempt the gank. They go for it, but from behind comes the rest of the team. Abaddon trying to get back to the tower. The stun goes out, gets Oracle. Abaddon will make the distance. Oracle goes down. Queez on the run. He gets a double. So actually it was a really smart play. I don't know if you noticed that Abaddon tried to kite the Juggernaut here to get them both caught in the Lion Stun. It was just short of range, but really a very good heads-up play that gives me hope for Rutgers, right? Because Rutgers is one of those teams that we've seen play well, have a lot of potential as a team, and little things like that are the kind of things that I really like to see.
UBC, for all of their faults this game, one thing that they're doing really well is keep Alchemist alive. Normally you would expect a rotation onto the Alchemist attempt before Alchemist is level 6, but he just passed level 5. There's been no real serious attempts coming from RU to make that happen. Now, granted, the Alchemist is being pretty seriously outfired by the Tinker, considering he is maxing, or he's at least leveling Greevil's Greed, and the Tinker has a higher net worth. But, you know, at the very, very least, he's not dying, which is really where Alchemist tends to run.
Storm races Oracle for the rune. Oracle gets it, so Storm says, I'm canceling your mana potion, and then Oracle turns around and cancels his. It's a little bit of a slap fight going on between these two supports here. But lots of vision out. And honestly, Radiant should know now that they are wards in that area because of how confidently Storm went into there, and be aware that those camps are going to be starting to get blocked up here pretty soon. The gold lead only 500 for UBC. XP, okay, here they make their move.
It's going to be coming too late, though. Too late at the wrong time. They're moving in, thinking, that they wanted to try and contest the stack, but they can't do that either. This is honestly just coming way too late, this movement on the Alchemist. This needed to happen around the 4-minute mark, not around the 7-minute mark.
Right. So, while the gold looks like it's in UBC's favor by a little bit, keep in mind that it is. The problem is that they have the Alchemist, right? So, that's a little troublesome. They only have a 500 lead at this point with RVN keeping such a strong net worth. And on the upside, the Juggernaut 3100, so he's having a pretty good laning phase up against this Abaddon. Is that going to make up for Alchemist's slow start?
It could. If Alchemist flash farms really effectively and they get some early towers, yeah, it definitely could. It really does come down to, does this Alchemist get ganked?
Right.
And does this Alchemist knock down stacks efficiently without costing the rest of his team an opportunity to push the tower? Because if the Alchemist is just in the jungle knocking down stacks at the expense of his team's ability to take objectives, then the overall net is a loss.
Tismic is dead. I mean, I know the way to say that. Thought about a clever pun, but really, it was just a massacre. Comes forward, gets a good Omni Slash, no creeps around to help him out, and is able to finish with the spin. Quee having a very good start to this game, 3.6k in his coffers. Though, Void, let's talk about him for a second. We haven't seen... Oh, hold on, never mind. Let's go to the mid, where Winter Wyvern has to go ahead and give himself Cold Embrace. Big Bun Theory sticking around. D&E comes in, gets the stun. RVN's going to come through well. He's got the lasers and the rockets, but the regen on Bun is just too strong. He's at that stage where you just don't want to fight him when he's got his two arms up.
Yeah. So, good rotations coming out of RU, but they really do need to kill this Alchemist. I hate to keep coming back to this point over and over again, but he's going to have an armlet soon, and once he has an armlet, it just becomes near impossible to kill him, to be honest.
Now, they are at a point where Faceless Void has gotten a decent amount of farm. He's third on the net worth. His Chronosphere is ready, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them move him around relatively soon to get that kill on the Alchemist. Because you're right, when his ult is up, he becomes almost impossible to kill. However, the Void is a really great tool in sort of delaying long enough to get that kill. Because once he's out of his ultimate, it's actually pretty simple to take him down early in the game.
Yeah, but not once he has that armlet, and that's the trouble. Now, with the Void, you're right. The Void can make that armlet toggle a non-issue if he ults at the right time.
Right.
But, you don't want to have to commit a Lion, a Winter Wyvern, and a Baden, and a Void, which is what it would probably take in order to kill this Alchemist once he gets an armlet up. You'd rather just do it with the goddamn Abaddon and Lion and just walk in, or maybe 3 of them, walk in and kill him very, very early on.
Oh, were we really showing XP per minute? That explains a lot. Well, that was supposed to be last hits, but, the man's got big fingers. What do you want from me? Goldie 2000, XP 500, and as you look at the net worth, which is the relevant chart to see here, you're going to see that Radiant is getting more comfortable by the moment. Key to this being Juggernaut is farming very effectively, and if there's somebody you don't want to let have farm on the side of UBC, it's Kui. Like, he is very good at maximizing his potential damage and his usage of gold, especially on a hero like a Juggernaut.
Yeah, he's not really a good Tinker, though. You do have to keep in mind, the Tinker's going to be applying pressure over the map constantly. And Juggernaut is going to be building into a map-style Blink Dagger, which I think is a really, really good build in this specific game. Is not really, really good at dealing with the Tinker in most cases. So he'll be able to push effectively, but he's not going to be able to counter-push very effectively. And they don't really have anybody that does that until the Alchemist is ready to take that role.
All right, so let's look up on the Mantis should remove the blind though, correct?
Wait, what?
If he Mantis, it takes off the blind miss rate, correct?
Yeah, we'll purge that.
Okay, just making sure we understand when he uses it versus when he doesn't. So he's gonna come forward. We see the Void back away immediately, not interested in dealing with the Magnus Juggernaut lane. Can't blame him for that. Meanwhile, smoke rotation towards the bottom, but as of now, there's no one there. They're gonna try to find, I guess, the Alchemist, but KCY is headed to tower, so it's almost like they smelled it coming. RVN's going to lean forward, start to put some damage on the tower. KCY in the trees, being pinged out. Storm on the lead. Lion's going to find him. Hex, stun, will be a kill, but probably not the hero they wanted to get out of that smoke.
Such an underwhelming kill at this juncture in the game, though. UBC got to be feeling pretty good about that one, in all honesty. Like, you never want to lose a hero, but if you're smoke and rotate in on that and then put all of their resources and try and knock down this mid tower very slowly, while you have a Magnus farming out a Blink Dagger and you've got an Alchemist with an armlet moving down stacks of Ancients. That's a win, honestly, if you're UBC.
Gold lead continues to be in UBC's favor. XP as well. UBC in a good spot in this match. Now, is this a... Oh, that hurts, man. Faceless Void getting popped and harassed by Magnus. Magnus smells the rotation. No, he doesn't smell the rotation. He sees the rotation and backs off as Storm and DNE try to get themselves a good pick. So we see the last time, Rutgers in Game 1 was down in the laning phase and came back in a massive way in that 12-ish minute mark. In the second game, they were unable to accomplish that. Does their lineup allow them from 12 to 16 to sort of get a good pace in this game and sort of take a lead? Rutgers.
Rutgers? I don't think that they have the same pacing that they had last time. It's all about this Faceless Void. Like, Tinker needs what he needs. Has what he needs. Boy, it's getting late, ain't it?
It is.
Tinker has what he needs in order to start to become an issue. Faceless Void is not really sitting on what he needs to be an issue, though. He did go for a Hand of Midas, which does help him get more time lock damage, but it's going to be a while before he really has the items that he needs in order to engage. We're probably talking like 17 to 20 minutes.
Okay. Gold lead continues to climb. RVN's trying to take this tower. He does have the boots to travel, like you said, and is starting his pushing game, but he needs to take this mid one down to sort of split out the jungle and his ability to move around the map right now, and he's going to do it little by little. Big Bun decides to get a... God, the Ancient stack's getting so thick.
Yeah, so Alchemist is still just uncontested. He's going to have a Radiance before he sees anything other than a Tinker this game. Like, literally, I don't think any other hero has done damage to him.
They're going to make a move on Juggernaut. They catch him right outside the spin. Fook with the Hex, comes second with the stun. And they should be able to burn him down here. He doesn't get away, but again, that's not... It's a good hero to kill, but it's not the hero that they wanted. Big Bun Theory, meanwhile, gets a little help from his friends and completely nukes down this gigantic stack and will finish off almost entirely the Radiance. They did, up on top, by the way, they got a rotation onto Void, so they pick him off in return for the Juggernaut kill.
And that almost gives Magnus a Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
So, Juggernaut is a good hero to pick, right? Especially, you're slowing down the Juggernaut's item window. What's really crucial here is that if you can slow down the Juggernaut's item windows when he has an Alchemist on his team, the Alchemist will want to fight when the Juggernaut's not ready, and it creates tension in the team. It's very difficult to hit those timing windows just right. But since Alchemist is going to be sitting on top of Radiance, like if the Juggernaut gets slowed down, Alchemist can just sit back and farm while the Juggernaut catches up.
Oh man, this is starting to feel very UBC heavy, even though the scorecard would tell you otherwise. The problem, I mean, the thing we talk about with the Alchemist, though, is you get a pick or two, potentially something with your team rotating into him by accident, and a couple of kills on him puts you right back in the game because of how high his net worth is. TPs come out, and they nuke him down. They didn't even need the Tinker necessarily, but they get a kill, and that's going to be a pretty big net worth boost to those supports there.
Yeah, fortunately, he bought out before he died, so he only lost 280 gold, which is really not that big of a deal considering he's an Alchemist and he has Radiance. It is a lot of gold onto supports, but it's onto supports,
right?
Like finishing boots. At this juncture in the game, that makes a difference in their overall ability to make stuff happen around the map. Like, it increases their efficiency, but it doesn't really increase their ability to impact team fights, which is what you're worried about if you're UBC at this juncture. So know that, in total, in conclusion, that had no business being where he was.
Right.
I don't think that it actually hurt him as much as it should have because he happened to buy out his Radiance.
If you remember UBC Rutgers game 1, there was the point where Slardar was out of position, ended up feeding away a kill to a core who finished the Shadow Blade and turned the face of the game. Yeah. That had the potential to be the same situation. He just got very lucky that it wasn't the Juggernaut or the Void standing there to get that kill.
Yeah, or rather the Void or the Tinker.
Right, sorry. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Would have been weird if Juggernaut killed him.
It would have been weird. Yeah, I will give you that. That is absolutely correct.
So RVN now going to lead the team.
Very soon.
Yeah.
For the Alchemist, by the way.
Oh, nice. So he's going to have those. We're going to see a push down by RVN as they try to get control of the jungle. 1, 2, 3, 4 has the Chronosphere if they can execute it correctly. Magnus pushing them backwards, trying to do as much damage as he can, but nobody wants to make the engagement. Crystal Maiden trying to slip into the jungle for a potential ultimate should the Void go out. And it looks like they will just yield this tower.
Yeah, they will yield the tower, but the Juggernaut's probably going to get the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a trade. Maybe not. Juggernaut's going to have to back off a little bit. But he traded some time for the Juggernaut to get some free farm. Juggernaut has gotten his Blink Dagger up, so he's probably not dying like he's been dying. Alchemist now very, very, very close to his Boots of Travel, which means he's going to be able to shut down the split push coming out of the Tinker, just with Radiance by itself. Tinker effectively pushes out creeps, does very little tower damage by himself, though, and with an Alchemist that has Boots of Travel, Radiance, and presumably Octarine Core after that, you're looking at trouble. The Faceless Void is still waiting to activate. I said it'd probably happen around 20 minutes, and that still seems to be the projection. I think 20 minutes might be too late, though. Like, there's a point
because there's the gank. They're going to make a move on him. 20 minutes is too long if you're dead, and he will be. They get out of stun, but it's not going to be enough, and now D&E in a little bit of danger as the chase is on. Queen's going to take a shot and have to back away. Saw the Tinker come in. Tinker comes from behind. They might get a return kill. They do. Nice finger shot, and a little bit of greed goes a long way. So they do get the Juggernaut in exchange for the Void, but Void's timer getting delayed, and now they want to turn back around. They think about going on Storm. Pulls in the attack. Storm actually pulls up the ice block. CM's got to back away. Nope, she's healing up. The healing word is just very strong from Juggernaut right now. And from the back comes Big Bun Theory. Radiance putting in the work. And he chases D&E around. Here comes the TP in. Jellybean going to find out that Tiz has come in. Doesn't matter. Gets the double push into the trees. Radiance putting in a lot of work. RVN hiding out, trying to make something happen. Radiance finishes off the Lion. The chase is on. Sinks goes for Big Bun. Big Bun in some trouble. The toggle is there. Do they have enough damage? The chase, everything they got, the rockets. Big Bun's toggle is just too strong.
Yeah, they don't really. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. There's the void. I don't think he needed it, but still, they get the kill. And it goes...
You don't know.
Ooh.
You spend it. You know, you don't know for sure.
Right.
You're not going to use it in the next 120 seconds.
Well, it's not done because KCY goes down now. The fight is all over the place as Juggernaut comes in from behind. Wants to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 wants to chase Quee. Quee's got to go. Was that a dieback from him?
No, I think the fight just lasted long.
It just lasted that freaking long?
Yeah. No, he died before that fight started, remember. He was the death that kicked off that fight.
All right, so that is pretty good for Rutgers. They pull back a pretty substantial amount of the gold lead and get themselves... What's
like
that again?
Void is now on pace to catch back up to that activation window that I had laid out. At the start of the fight, it looked like he was going to be kicked back a little bit because of the very nice blink reveal. I will say it was a nice reveal of the Boots of Travel from the Alchemist to teleport north of the fight and then wrap down around. They didn't take what they could get and then back out effectively. They went a little bit too deep, which is been a problem of UBC's a couple of times in really substantial ways throughout this series.
In the whole series.
As a team, yeah.
UBC definitely likes to push it deep, but you can tell that they're just doing it before I think that they're ready, and it's backfiring pretty significantly. Rutgers is causing a lot of damage and staying in the game, really making themselves relevant again. This was a chance, I think, for UBC if they had just laid off and gotten a little more farm, played safe, would have found themselves in an even firmer control of this match. And you can't give Rutgers a little bit or they take a mile every single time.
Yeah. Sorry, I spaced out a little bit there. I'm just going to assume that I agree with what you say. I spaced out because this is a Ro16 attempt with Abaddon and Faceless Void. And this should take a really long time. I was just thinking, like, there's no way that they have 40 seconds to make this happen with absolutely no contest. But
I love watching Lion turn into a fish. Such a big fish.
Yeah. Magikarp, I choose you, right?
Right.
I screwed that up.
Well, so they go ahead and they kill the Magikarp, come out with the Gyarados, and they are going to use that Aegis to go ahead and push in, try to get a little more advantage for themselves. So a sneaky, slick little play to get themselves into a better position in this match, as the farm is now becoming significantly more relevant. The 20-minute online time for the Void was a reality, but only because of the fact they caught that Alchemist up there in that top lane fight. Big Bun Theory trying to get his farm, being chased from behind, the entire team looking on his heels. Big Bun has to run for safety, and it looks like Dire will check out the jungle, maybe get a little clearance for themselves. Up on top, Jellybean Bob trying to push that tier 1 tower, going to get the help of the Alchemist, and they won't respond to it. It looks like instead they may try a long wrap from the jungle all the way in behind the Alchemist.
This is going to be a very tough game for both teams. Neither of these teams come out really ahead. Actually, Ultimate used on the Tinker up top. And Q is going to have to back off now. He's got his Blink Dagger up in 4 seconds, but it will continue to be blocked out here by Storm Soldat. Laser coming out, and that is going to be a dead Juggernaut. That's a really bad way to die.
Yeah.
His ultimate is on cooldown now. He's dead. He's not getting farmed. This Juggernaut has been sitting on top of that, like waiting for that ultimate orb for how long now?
Hold on, this fight's out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 comes in, gets up a huge void, all 3 inside of it. They're able to turn back around and get a kill. Big Bun putting in some serious work, though. Big attack by Jellybean Bob. They take out 3. Radiant is suffering big time, but Big Bun looks to turn back the suffering. Wants Tismet getting kited around. He ends up going down. 4-man wipe. They lost 2. Can they finish Bean Bob? Bean Bob gets to safety. Fall back, take the tower, and be happy with your kills, Dire, because they executed that really well. And this feels a lot like Game 1 in a lot of ways, Gorgon, where UBC got confident and Rutgers made them pay.
Yeah, so the high ground defense here is really good. You got to give them that, right? Or the potential for high ground defense coming out of UBC is much better here than in previous games. Of course, his Jellybean Bob is going to need to land some of his skewers, and that particular skewer not going to be the case. But yeah, with the Juggernaut and the Empower, you've got pretty good opportunity on high ground to land a good freezing field, and all of that on top of the fact that the Alchemist is giving out a Radiant's mischance that he can pretty easily split push even while high ground defending. And if this game goes sufficiently late, remember, you can share Moonshard now.
Right.
So Alchemist has a lot of room to make this Juggernaut a better
So
hero.
Winter Wyvern Con in tough position gets hit pretty hard. Big Bun Theory is going to have to back away, so they do lose the Dragon Storm a little too far forward, gets caught out of position. Ko's got to be careful as she's been isolated, so he's going to have to go up to the high ground and walk out the back. Nice kill on the Wyvern, but they held the tower. This was a tower that was really, they were trying to push very aggressively out of the Radiant and couldn't get anything for it.
Yeah, I don't know that they were trying to get that tower necessarily. Remember, they did just lose 4 here. They're just kind of going out. I think they were looking for the best kill opportunity they could get, and if they happened to get a really good opportunity, the tower was there. I don't think it was necessarily their goal to take that tower in that fight.
All right, mid tower will finally go down. Dire has pushed it and continues to cake the momentum that they took off of the last couple of fights here. And, I mean, is the advantage still with Radiant, like the charts would reflect, or do you feel like Rutgers is starting to become controlling in this match?
Rutgers definitely have the pacing in their court, right? Like they are the team that gets to decide when things happen and when things don't happen right now, which is you usually want to be that team. A smoke attempt is going to be coming out here, and Storm Soldat will probably die again.
Ooh, yeah, Storm.
Not. A lot of rotations coming. Really nice ultimate. And yeah, Storm Soldat will be fine. Protosphere is coming up here soon too.
The chase is on. Big Bun Theory gets caught from behind with the Hex, coating a lot of damage from the Rockets. He'll go down. Here comes the Chronosphere. They're ready for him. They've got him locked inside of it. Do they use it? No, they don't. Now, there we go. Now on Big Bun Theory to the high ground. They're going to find him. Everybody's got to wait outside. I don't know if they have enough damage to get him down in time. It looks like they will. Finger to the back, and he ends up falling. So another kill on the very expensive Alchemist is going to continue to keep Rutgers earning items in this game is probably the best way to sort of sum that up. The Fusel Blade almost done on the Faceless Void. Do you like that build on the Faceless Void more than you liked it in the last game?
Yeah, I think it's the Fusel's good on Faceless Void. I don't know that when we saw it on the Weaver, like it can be good on Weaver situations. It didn't fit that draft or that team needs at all in my estimation. I do think that is a pretty good build on the Faceless Void here.
I'll take that as
Again, it really just seems like UBC, they lane really well, but they don't know how to transition. They're going to lose a courier here, too, if they're not careful.
It is going to get tracked down by Storm. He tried to go above the trees, didn't have the flight up, so the courier just barely gets away.
And the Ultimate Orb was purchased on it, so they don't have to fly it back, fortunately. Finally, that Manta is finished. That was the longest journey to a Manta I have ever seen in my illustrious career, watching Mantas get built.
I dig that. All right, so they're going to push up on the top lane, easily take down this tower again. And while it continues to look, when you look at the net worth stack, it's like, oh yeah, Alchemist is up there and we've got more gold. They don't. I mean, at the end of the day, Dire has been playing a really strong game since a couple of those early feeds on the Alchemist, and Radiant feels like they can't seem to find their footing to get back into this match. So what is the key for them to retake momentum control? Because it really just seems like they're off of momentum more than anything else.
Yeah, they don't have control of what's going on here. When they try to take control, they end up feeding in. I really think that probably their best call is to play as defensively as they can justify. Try to get up a little bit of close vision, maybe buy a gem and knock down wards near their base and then leave the gem in their own base for safety. And just continue to try and make sure that they're not losing control of the area just basically around their zone of influence. And do that for as long as it takes for the Alchemist to get where he needs to be in order to start 1v2ing or 1v3ing, because his Juggernaut's not going to get there. It's just not going to happen, barring some serious oversteps from RU. The Alchemist is going to have to lead to charge.
Right. All right, they'll push into the bottom tower, try to take out the last tier 2. Shouldn't be an issue as there's no response at all from the Radiant side. It is dead even on gold. RU's advantage on XP. And both teams looking at a end to this very long evening, possibly coming up sooner than I think Radiant expected.
Yeah, but remember, they do have good high ground defense.
That's
the
true.
Chronosphere and the March of the Machines can defend against, but we haven't seen very much out of this Magnus, to be honest. Like, it's easy to forget that this Magnus is in the game. He's got 5 assists, and that's the bulk of his contributions so far this game. But a good reverse polarity skewer combo on a high ground defense with the Radiance Alchemist and a freezing field, like, you could very easily see that being a big defensive win.
Definitely gives them a chance, and you know, it's CSL. We love casting CSL because you're never out of it until the game actually ends. This is a pretty famous league for big swings in games like this. Big Bun Theory still farming very fast. He's got that Octarine core, the Manta style, Boots of Travel, Radiance, and it looks like we'll see a Shiva's Guard here relatively soon. What else are we looking at on this side? Magnus, the Force Staff, Shadow Blade, Blink Dagger. He can initiate all over the place.
Too.
Yeah.
I don't think that Shadow Blade has been revealed yet.
Oh, I thought you meant fresh, like, you know, cheeky buy.
Yeah, man, it's popping. It's hip with the kids. I'm not hip with the kids, as you can tell. But yeah, fresh Blink Dagger is up on a couple of heroes as well, coming out of our been revealed, but none of them have been really. A couple of them have not really been used a lot in fights so far. Faceless Void now sitting on top of a Maelstrom as well as his finished Diffusal. And Abaddon is getting pretty close to his Lotus Orb as well.
All right, we're going to see Void goes in to do a little bit of damage here on the Roche by himself. Probably could use a little help to get that thing down. Meanwhile, Alchemist farming his opponent's jungle. Void says, I guess I'll take the Ancients maybe, see if I can't find a gank. And he will see the Magnus. Juggernaut's a little bit out of position, so he can probably solo the Mag without anybody coming in. Gotta be careful, though, because there is a Jug in range. Comes out, uses the Void Sphere, gets him down, no big deal. And DNE and Storm Soldat are right outside, just in case he needs a little bit of backup. Which Big Bun Theory is going to come forward, get stunned. Lots of locks coming out of the Void, but he has to walk away. Storm taking a ton of damage. DNE comes in, gets up the stun to try and get Storm out. TPs as well. Void thinks about sticking around. He will jump to safety. Tiz in a bad position. Ultimate pop by Abaddon. Storm comes in to try and save him. They're fighting by the shrine, though. This could backfire. 1, 2, 3 dropping low. Ko's able to heal himself up. Ultimate from the Crystal Maiden. So much damage. They end up getting the Lion. Tismic going down to the Juggernaut, presumably. Meanwhile, the Winter Wyvern drops as well. Can he finish him? Tismic really running, and that will be the end of him. The Juggernaut finishes him off. All 3 go down, including the Abaddon. So the 2 supports and the Abaddon all down at the same time. This will allow them to push the top lane. And finally, something goes right for Radiant.
Yeah, that's a big step forward. The fact that they're able to do this. It was just a huge overstep from Rutgers, right? Storm Soldat charged headlong into his opponents. And the reason seemed to be that he was trying to force the Alchemist to run back into KCY so that he could ult KCY and just instant kill him. Yeah. I think he was looking for that cheeky, like, tilting kill. I ended up having to use that ultimate defensively, and it got stacked with the Lion stun, so the Alchemist took no damage during it. They overextended in a big way. Now, granted, that doesn't lose them the game, but it does lose them the net worth lead for the first time in a long time.
All right, so that will give UBC, if nothing else, you said it didn't lose them the game, but it definitely gives UBC a feeling of being back in this thing. And that's something that UBC really thrives on. When you get them, if they can pull themselves off of the tilt, off of a fight like we just saw, they tend to work together very well as a unit to get them back into this. And I expect to see that happen right now as all of the team relocates to the middle. They're protecting each other and making sure that they stand up against any potential pushes coming out of the Dire. Is Dire on a timer right now? Obviously with the Alchemist, you know that the extreme late game favors Radiant. What do they have to accomplish to sort of keep pacing?
It's tough to say because Tinker is really, really good. Winter Wyvern can be really, really good if his ultimate point. So I do think that the Radiant draft is much easier to execute in the late game, but I wouldn't say that this Dire draft can't win in the late game, right? It's certainly a possibility. One thing that you need to keep in mind is that because of the way that this Alchemist and Juggernaut farm, especially with the Empower potential coming out of the Magnus, a little bit of map control goes a really long way for these guys. They're able to boost their GPM up a lot more than most teams would be able to off of a little bit of control.
So they do use the Chronosphere to stop the TP in from the Juggernaut. They move in, but the Oracle's going to be able to get that out. Hex up here as the Dire collapses all over Magnus to try and finish him off. Crystal Maiden does manage to get stunned, so a good stop on her ultimate. She'll go down. Jellybean Bob going for the TP to try to get out of this one. Can they finish him before he goes? They cannot. He goes down, but they lost the Juggernaut, they lost the Oracle, and they lost the Crystal Maiden in that engagement. Because
that, right? The Juggernaut died to open that fight. He was not, even if he didn't die there, he would have not died by a very thin margin, would not have been able to come back.
Right.
The Alchemist is nowhere near them.
Well,
there was no reason to go back in.
Once Alchemist cancels his TP, that should be it. And that's
right.
It was a really nice play by 123 to see it coming in and say, all right, well, I'm going to void, and you can't TP into this, so we get the auto kill, and they got 3 instead of 1.
And Alchemist just TP'd bottom instead of to the base, so he literally cannot come defend this. This is a free wrath against a team that should be really good at high ground.
They don't have the creeps, and they can't get through the back door.
Okay.
So
free tower. It's a free tower. They didn't quite get the creeps up as fast as I think that they needed to, but you know, it's still a free tower that didn't necessarily need to be free. I guess that probably the Alchemist wasn't going to stop that tower from dropping anyway.
yeah, so he made a good choice, went to get himself a little bit extra farm. They will rotate directly to Shrine and get that down, so they continue to bolster their control of their opponent's map. The more jungle you take away from the Alchemist, the less happy an Alchemist is. And really the most important way to beat him is to keep him from being out there safely farming. And with Void starting to really get some items here,
I don't think you can really stop the Alchemist from farming at this junction.
you can force him to have backup at all times, though, right?
Yeah, well, no, not really, because he's got the boots of travel. Like, he's going to be out where he is now. You know what I mean? That's where he farms. The Juggernaut's the one that's going to need the jungle to farm, and the Juggernaut's arguably the one that needs to farm more right now. He's the one that's farther behind, right? Juggernaut is behind the Tinker, behind the Void by 7,000 net worth.
Right.
He's the one that needs to catch up. The Alchemist is doing fine.
So Alchemist goes down the bottom, chases back the Tinker, split push versus split push, TP boot versus TP boot. They go ahead and finish off all the shrines as these three go to the top where they saw Jellybean Bob hanging out. He'll go hide out in the trees, and they should 4-man push the top lane, I would assume. Actually, they bring all 5 into the top lane, so they push together, or does it smell like a smoke in the incoming? Nope, D&E's going to go back to get some items.
Oh, by the way, that last fight, I didn't notice because before the fight started, the gem was on the courier, but it looks like they did lose, or UBC did lose their gem in that fight as well.
Okay.
I thought that they were keeping on their courier, but they must have been out with the explicit goal of counter warding, which makes it all the stranger that their supports would choose to fight that. Right?
Big Bun Theory was pretty far forward, had a double damage through, tried to go for the kill, got the Manta off as the Chronosphere comes out, locks him up, finger and a laser, and that's another dead Alchemist. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't.
He loses 726 gold on that. So most of the gold, if not all of the gold that he would have gotten for that entire bout out farming.
Such an investment for a Winter Wyvern. Now Q's going to get caught. He gets locked in place, tries to get away, has to Manta to run, chased by the Void, and then is going to get caught here and slowed down by the Winter Wyvern. His team can't really come out to help, but he does manage to jump to safety. A little bit of help from Oracle. Also, whoa, CM putting in the work. So much they can't stop her. She's burning everybody down. Aegis is popped. Ko will finally die, but Alchemist has arrived. The Cavalry is here. The game is paused because Lion disconnected. I don't know if he disconnected because the fight went so badly, or if that. Cause that's tough. That actually hurt them pretty badly. I didn't realize he had taken off running.
Look where Lion is. I don't unless he disconnected way before that fight.
I think
it didn't look like he was going to impact that.
I think the argument is he potentially could have finished off the Juggernaut here.
I mean, he wasn't. I mean, look where he is though. He physically couldn't have been there for that fight, even if he was connected.
Gotcha. So we see Tismic is now turning around. They got to get on the run. They got greedy in the same way Big Bun Theory did earlier, but this time they lose 4, whereas before they just got the Big Bun. Big Bun going to lead the charge down the middle, try to force some buybacks, I guess, though they won't need to use them. Can they push through 2 towers in 50 seconds?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
With
for
a
sure.
Magnus and a Juggernaut and an Alchemist, yeah, they can push through 2 towers in 50. They can push through the racks, probably, in 60 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
These are going to have to be buybacks.
No backdoor needed for these guys.
Right. Like, empowers a skill, man.
So now they keep moving forward. They're going to get into the next set of creeps. They head to the high ground. Big Bang, 18 seconds off of his next ultimate. It's not going to be It's going to be right back up as soon as it turns off. RVN trying to slow him down with some lasers for mischance. Blowing the glyph, but Big Bun Theory don't care. Puts out the illusions and finally decide to back away once they get off one of the buybacks. Looks like Faceless Void going to be stalwart in his desire to not buy back, and Big Bun Theory going to be stalwart in his desire to take this tower. He's going. You don't care.
They will lose the tower for this. They probably won't lose the racks, but saving the buyback on the Void, probably worth your tier 3 there.
Yeah,
it's a little tough to call because he has Chronosphere up, so if UBC had taken one more step over that line, if the Juggernaut had gone just a little too far forward, or if Winter Wyvern had been able to line up a good ultimate onto that Alk, a buyback would have absolutely been worthwhile there, but you don't blow it just to save that tier 3.
Alright, now let's take a look at where we are on the gold chart. It's like a EKG meter, still hanging between 2,000 for each team. So, they have an Alchemist on their team. When you look at the net worth chart and you see a 2,000 gold lead for UBC, is that an indicator that they're woefully underfarmed, or is it just because of the nature of how this match has gone? I mean, with the Alk, you would assume they'd be way farther than a 2,000 lead.
Yeah, the really strange thing about this game is that they have less than 2,000 net worth lead. With an Alchemist, you'd expect that means that the experience lead is heavily in RU's favor, but UBC are actually way ahead in experience because RU has spent so much time grouped up as 4 and 5 that they aren't getting any experience anymore.
Right.
They've been really suffering on that account, and it's one of the reasons why they've started to fall off so quickly here. They arguably shouldn't be falling off sub 40 minutes, but they've spent too much time together, especially considering they have a Tinker.
Curious. All right, so Rutgers is going to go ahead and get the deny on their tier 1. I mean, they definitely, we can say Radiant has been slow to push. They really only got that last tier 1 because of the fact that they wiped half the team. That said, they don't care. They don't need the piggy banks at the moment. The only thing they need is for Juggernaut to pick up a few more items, and he seems like he's getting himself back into this pretty aggressively. Right. So they had Bizzle Blaze.
Those engagements got Juggernaut to where he needed to be. Back when I said, like, oh, the Juggernaut's the one that's suffering, he had a Blink Dagger and a Manta.
Right.
And now he's got Blink, Manta, Maelstrom, Abyssal, and an extra 500 on top. He does not have a buyback, but he does have a shared ags. So his net worth is actually higher because of that shared ags as well, thanks to the generosity of the Alchemist, who might consider building him a Moon Shard next before moving into ags for the rest of his team.
All right, I am curious. This next engagement seems like a pretty big one. So who's looking to force a fight right now? Is it something where obviously both teams don't want to fall back and farm? Someone wants to try to get something. Is it looking for picks? Is it?
RU really wants to find a fight
where
UBC are not in their base, because UBC's high ground is really difficult to deal. If they can force a buyback out, or they can try to force a buyback out on this Juggernaut, for example, and then realize that Juggernaut does not have a buyback, that would be just a huge moment for them.
Look at this attempted bait.
Yeah. So that's what they're looking, but they're continuing to stay grouped up all the time, which continues to be an issue for them. They're just not farming faster than their opponents are, either in experience or in gold.
So they tried to set up a gank up on top. It did not work out. In fact, it wasted a fair amount of time as the entire team was there waiting to see if they could get something out of it. Meanwhile, now we see the rotation coming out of Rutgers as they farm up their jungle. Void, item-wise, now with the MKB, finally an answer to that Radiance, as well as just a copious amount of stun available from him in these fights. And 2,000 gold in the bank. So he is looking very beefy at the moment. Tismic looks like he is a long way from the AC, but when that does come up, that's going to be pretty gosh darn brutal. What else do we have out here on these two teams?
Yeah, the AC will be good. I don't know that it's going to be the... There's just not a lot of physical damage on this team. Tinker does basically no damage. The Faceless Void does quite a bit of physical damage, but also a lot of Faceless Void's damage is from Time Lock, which is magical. Abaddon does a lot of physical damage, but he's basically the source of physical damage, and he's nothing like a Juggernaut. He's nothing like an Alchemist in terms of his output.
All right, here we go. We got a smoke rotation coming out of the Radiant side. They're looking to find someone here. They're going to send Kui forward as the lead man with the Omni Slash. doing the good job of getting some wards up as he goes to the high ground. They'll smoke forward, maybe take down the shrine once they don't find anybody to kill. On the opposite side, literally the same thing. They have the same instinct, they have the same smoke, and they have the same rotation. No one finds each other. Now, pings are going out on top saying our shrine is taking damage. Can we rotate up in that direction and try to get someone picked off? The smoke has ended. 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to lead. He goes out, has his invisibility for the chase. Wants to try to find someone here. They know that the shrine's still taking damage, but it's only from illusions. Gets the high ground jump. No! The Chronosphere misses everybody. He's stunned inside. Big Bun Theory tries to wrap around. They do make their first move on Crystal Maiden. She's in a little bit of trouble, but she survives thanks to the Oracle. Now we get the Root on top of the Winter Wyvern. He goes up in the air, hoping for a little bit of help. DNE getting shot on the outside. Code low, but he's got the ability to go invisible. Disarm on Oracle. He goes down. RVN TPs to safety on a nice stun from DNE. DNE saved, but not long enough. Crystal Maiden goes down. DNE does as well. The stun is up on the Alchemist. They're putting out a lot of work, but they don't have a Chronosphere. He gets pulled in from the back. That's bad news, Bears. They kill the Void. The chase is on as Big Bun runs a little bit to safety here. RVN taking a lot of damage. Buyback comes out immediately from the Void. He's probably going to TP out, try and make a little fight here, but he's coming into a danger zone. Jelly Bean Bob and Big Bun Theory going out the back. Q has to spin to win. There's the chase from the Void. They want to try to get a kill for his trouble. This makes the buyback not worth very much if they can't pick anything off, and the Void burned it and gets nothing for his trouble.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was just talking about. Right now they're going to be able to move into Roche. Like a good fight outside of the base is exactly what already needed. This I can't imagine they don't move into Roche now.
So they come forward. That will be a benefit of the buyback from the Void because of that. They managed to push back the CM and the Oracle, but I don't know that they're confident enough to go in there with everybody else up.
Go in, then the buyback on the Void is basically
complete loss.
Yeah, but if they just man up and go do it, like Roche, they have the damage to do it. Yeah,
they have the beef.
Yeah,
just not enough of it. There he goes.
Questionable caution, and now they're going to move into it way too late. Like this is the wrong time. This is the exact wrong way to. Yeah, he's going to have to back out.
Once CM gets the vision up, Q's coming from the back. Storm sees him, knows what they're planning, has to rock away here. The TPs are coming out. They're going to try to make their move, but immediately they move on DNE. DNE in some trouble. He tries to go invisible, get himself out of... Q is in deep, very deep. KCY taking a lot of damage, but a Void Chronosphere actually comes out and catches 2 this time. KCY's got to back away. Can he do enough damage? Doesn't seem like it's going to. The laser's bouncing around. Missed chance is helpful, but is it going to be enough? Tismic is here to put his work. Omni Slash comes out, bouncing everywhere, but they lost the Void. They lost, oh god, they lost the Winter Wyvern. DNC is down, and the chase is on. Kui wants Tismic, gets hit from the back by the Tinker, but will it be enough? Big Bun Theory on the chase, wants to throw the stun, can't seem to get in range. Now he does stun himself, but it doesn't really matter. Abaddon will go down to Kui. Back to base where Big Bun Theory and the rest of the team thinks about pushing. DNE comes in, gets a nice shot. RVN with the big bomb, but it isn't going to do much damage. They're just too tanky right now. In comes DNE, puts the finger on Big Bun Theory, but he's still alive anyway. Will get healed back up by KCY. They'll probably consider going back in. Yes, they will. Big Bun Theory likes to fight, and he wants to do it. Goes to the high ground, got Jelly Bean Bob scouting around with that Shadow Blade, getting in behind Tismic and RVN. RVN jumps to safety, but gets grabbed from behind. DNE in some trouble. BKB is popped by Jelly Bean. DNE, one more shot will finish him off. He's out. He's done. And now it's going to be a try to run as they go on the Big Bun Theory. The Big Bun Theory's got his ultimate up and running. The toggle no longer available as he's gotten rid of that item, but he gets to safety, and Jelly Bean goes invisible again and will just hide and blink out. So kill after kill, and all they're sacrificing is their supports.
Yeah, but the high ground was held, which is honestly more than I would have expected there. I'm a little surprised that UBC didn't just back off and Roche there, to be quite honest. Like moving into the Tinker without a BKB on the Alchemist is, you're not very likely to be able to deal with it just because the laser, mischance. Like, if that's a Tinker with Axe, you can make your entire team miss for the bulk of the time that you exist. But you might even consider, if you're Alchemist, Assault Cuirass and Backpack BKB out for just that sort of situation, or vice versa, for just that sort of situation.
So that's the Aegis going to be up on the Juggernaut now. The Alchemist is 6 slotted, going to start to buying things for friends. The AC benefit is going to be, I think, very strong for them with that armor reduction. I just don't know. It feels like Rutgers did a good job of staying in this, but it feels like they maybe let the guys from UBC go a little too long.
Yeah, this is starting to look really, really good for UBC. However, all it takes is one bad fight where there aren't buybacks available, and UBC could lose, right?
Now, I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but Magnus does have the Ag Scepter gifted to him from the Alchemist.
Yeah, we were discussing that in the Twitch chat. I think I might have forgotten to say it out loud, but it is. I think that is a pretty good Ags in this case. You don't. It's not worth buying if you're a Magnus in most cases.
Right.
But the fact that you now have Empower as an aura, it should impact all illusions. It should impact all heroes. Ranged heroes now are going to splash, which isn't a big deal because neither of your ranged heroes do a ton of damage.
Right.
But I mean, Oracle doesn't hit for nothing. He hits for something.
Every little bit counts when you get to this sort of level of the game, right?
Right, and the fact that the illusions specifically are going to be pushing with that additional damage and that additional cleave for absolutely free. It gives you so much more sustain in your pushes because the Magnus doesn't have to watch his mana pool at all. You can push constantly. So I do think just in terms of the damage output that it provides and sustain that it provides, it's pretty good. I probably would have preferred to have seen a moon shard on the Juggernaut first, but it's a preference thing. I don't think either decision is necessarily bad.
The gold lead, by the way, is up to 15,000 for UBC. XP is at 7,000, so they're in pretty firm control of both charts right now. Kyle looking for someone to move on. Tismic in a very dangerous position if they spot him, and they do not, so he will be able to walk away. They see him at the last possible second, but it's too late. But the bottom tower now being pushed, and I don't think they can do anything to contest this. This should be a very easy Tier 2 take, which gets them caught up and even in, actually almost even in the tower count. One more Tier 2 to clean off, and they decide not to go to high ground push. They're just going to do the recommended strategy, which is clean out all of the exterior towers, take out everything they need to, get a little more farm, and then push when they're ready.
They are probably, well, no, Aegis is still up.
Yeah.
I was going to say they're probably just waiting for the next Roche, assuming that the Juggernaut had lost the Aegis at some point, but he hasn't, so.
Still has it. I think they still have a minute and a half, if my head numbers are correct.
It's out there.
So with the speed at which they're pushing, they can very easily take the Tier 2, and then I think make their high ground Aegis push up here on the top within a minute and a half, no problem.
Yeah, shouldn't be an issue. The question is, are they going to get jumped on the low ground? I think that with a good Chronosphere, there's a realistic shot that a smoke into a rotation on this low ground might actually be a good play.
Like a rat? You mean like a rat? Like the old wraparound smoke sort of play?
Ye olde wraparound, yeah.
Ye old wraparound.
They could also try to do a similar style. Like I mean, it happened too slow, so obviously they're going to do it on the high ground. Our Chronosphere here on top of the Martian machine stacks could be really good. Just the threat of that might be enough in order to force UBC back until that Aegis expires. UBC might be willing to trade the Aegis time for a Scotty instead on the Juggernaut.
Right. Well, Big Bang looks like he wants to go to the high ground. He's trying. I think they're trying to tempt out the Chronosphere right now. All right, so he's going to send the illusions in. They just start to take apart that range Rex. And the guys from Dire are in extreme defense mode as they defend the pass. This is the hope, and the hope of Greece, if you will, stands on their backs as they try to hold this small little area. In comes Juggernaut. He wants to do a little chipping, get in there because he's got the Aegis up. We're going to see a movement by the Alchemist, moves into the range rack, still Kui alive and well. No Aegis popped as he does his spin and everything else. Out comes the Chronosphere, tries to move on the Magnus. Magnus taking a lot of damage, but Stormslow that's going to come in, makes his move. They try to catch him. Jellybean Bob looking for a good one, gets the double. Tismic in some trouble. Ultimate is going to get popped. Big Bun Theory throws to the high ground. We lost the Magnus. We lose anybody else. Abaddon's ultimate ends. That's going to put him in a tough spot, but a nice stun from DNE buys some space. Juggernaut low. Aegis will be popped, but he no longer has any backup.
2 gems on the deck here, and 1 in Stormslow.
Comes up, he's hexed, stunned, can't get the spin, and ends up going down. KCY in some trouble now as well. He dies. The only man to stand after all of that is the Alchemist.
Yeah, and remember I told you, you got to be really careful if your Juggernaut doesn't have buyback because you have 1 bad engagement and could just be game. 80 seconds without buyback, and there's no Roche to distract RU. They're going to push in.
This is it. This is your chance, Rutgers, to secure your spot in the Elite 8. Take some real damage out. Alchemist and Magnus, as well as that CM, sneaky CM, going to be up for this. But they start to lean in. They're going to go ahead and clear the creeps out very quickly. Maelstrom putting in some work. And it's time to push into these racks as the creeps arrive inside the sphere. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tinker comes forward. Acid spray. They use the glyph. They're buying as much time as they can. No buyback from the Magnus. They're pinging out the big bun, saying, can we get the kill before his friends are here to help him? They stay on target. Go for the racks. There's the jump. Chronosphere is down, though, so it's all about harassment. They want to finish the range racks. He's got to jump to safety.
They're just going to continue to kind of slow siege this. They know they've got 30 seconds to make whatever damage they can. If they can kill the Alchemist here, they've got to figure that maybe we just won the game, but they don't want to over-engage. They're being really smart about this. Maybe going for the second tower might be a little too greedy, but if they can bait the Alchemist...
Hex on the Alchemist, they come out, they get the stun and the Chronosphere. Can they kill him before his regen? But no, Ko on the outside. It's so much damage. She's just so strong. Goes ahead and yules up into the air. Now the RVN on the run. Disarm on the Void. He wants to turn back and fight potentially. Jellybean Bob putting in some work, though, because everyone has returned. Nice play to keep him in spot. RVN, 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps up. They want Big Bun Theory. They'll give their life for it. Big Bun is low, and he's got to go. He has a buyback, but a good kill for them. Tismic dies as well, making it 4. I think you might have been right. They stayed a little bit too long. Will Steve Storm walk out? 3 buybacks available, though, so they know they'll have everybody up if they need to, and they got the buyback, or the kill on the Alchemist. So that's some nice gold, but at this point, doesn't matter as much.
No, not really. I cannot believe that we're this late into a game to Tinker and Lion, and there's 1 BKB.
Right.
Juggernaut is not even saving an inventory spot for a BKB. He doesn't even care. He's not planning on getting it. I guess he thinks that Blade Fury is enough. Like, yeah, okay, Blade Fury buys him a little bit of time, but
this keeps happening. So the stun comes out, disarm on the Oracle. They move on Quee. Quee taking a lot of damage, has to walk out the back door. I guess the front door, technically, is he's just running away with everybody chasing him. KCY comes forward, but RVN is here. They get the Hex up. There is no Alchemist. He's going to start to TP in. Can he get here in time to make a difference? The bouncing laser puts in a lot of work. KCY dropping low. Can they finish the job? Tismic wants him. RVN runs to the high ground. The root on the Dragon. Dragon goes down. Alchemist has arrived. RVN being chased by Alk. The Hex is up, though. Big Bun Theory has to juke around through the trees. RVN trying to finish him. Void looking. 9 seconds on the Chronosphere. Can he get some time locks? The finger is there. They're going to get him if they can. He's so close to getting away, though. Look at him healing back up. The Void Chronosphere almost off. D&E dropping low. Can he finish the job? The Chrono's there. He's got him, but they can't get to him. They keep going in. Omni Slash from the back. The Juggernaut's coming in. It's not going to work. He's back to full health. He's hexed. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. Turns back around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to put the work in. Has to jump to safety. RVN low. Quee from the back is the savior with the sword. Locks him up. It's not going to be enough. This will be the end of RVN. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gets some heal, but it's not going to be. He's got to go back to the high ground to try and defend. And they almost had it. Had they killed that Alchemist, it would have been huge, but they just didn't have enough.
He Manta dodged Finger of Death, and that was
Is that what it was?
That would have killed him. Yeah, that was literally saving the game. Manta dodge. If he died there, he has no buyback. We're probably looking at Rutgers moving on, and as it is, it's going to be holding on by a thread for Rutgers if they can make this high ground defense.
That was crazy. One button push is God, that's crazy. I love when that shit happens. Sorry, that stuff happens. A button push determines the difference between success and failure, and a skill. Like it was done at the right time. It was saved correctly.
Yeah, that's a 0.25 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're up against a lion, the Finger Death has a 0.25 second delay. Mm-hmm. So you're literally talking. You have a 0.25 second window, and you have 0.25 seconds to react.
Mm-hmm.
So literally less than half a second, you have to do multiple reaction and calculations. That's a very, very difficult dodge to make.
In the words of Chris Prater, that was literally the perfect play at that moment. And I could not be happier with it. I mean, both teams know it, but only one team can go in there and take it, right? Because Chronosphere is not going to be back. Oh, it is up. I'm sorry. So they have the Chrono, but it's not been working for them.
Too.
The problem is, if they get Quee and Alchemist, Ko tears them apart from wherever he's standing.
Yeah, well, Ko has been doing a lot of damage. I can't believe they're going to get this up. I'm convinced. This is crazy. They're all up. They've got to know that it's there. They could have walked over there. I guess they just thought, like, oh, they must already be halfway through it.
Yeah. Double damage on Juggernaut too, made it nice and fast.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot, but I think the reason that it's working so well for them is there's a little bit of a lack of communication on Rutgers' side. Because every time that Code does use his ultimate, I don't know if you've noticed, 4 of the heroes on the side of Rutgers immediately transition from what they're doing to try and kill the CM. And that's buying so much time for Alchemist regen, for Juggernaut pickoffs, for sort of the return fights for the Radiant, that it's actually paying off dividends far beyond just damage output.
Well, in a lot of cases, they don't need to as well, because in a lot of cases, Storm Soldat is interrupting CM before she does a significant amount of damage. Like, his Yule Scepter has interrupted her ult most of the times that she's gotten it off. She's done a fairly decent amount of damage. Most of the damage that's done in those fights while her ultimate's going on is actually just the splash damage from the Mjolnir. It just looks like she's doing a lot. If you actually look at the combat log, in most of those cases, not all, a couple of them were really, really, really.
Yeah, no, I think it's the chaos that's being caused that the rest of the team isn't staying focused. Because all you need, I mean,
it's a psychological factor.
Yeah, at this point, with the amount of regen that the Alchemist is bringing, the damage output from the Juggernaut, like a half-second lapse is enough to lose a fight, as we've already seen, and that's causing them a lot of trouble. Rutgers, their Dynamo sort of, I don't say disjointed, but every man's strategy style is effective a lot of times, but in this instance, it has worked against them, in my opinion. Gold lead, 29,000 for UBC. Experience irrelevant at this point, so I won't even bother with that.
Gold's kind of getting to the point where it's irrelevant too. A lot of heroes are peeking out. Like Juggernaut can get a Moon Shard, and that is it. Arguably, he could backpack a Refresher. He could backpack a BKB. And then he's really there. He is peaked out. Alchemist could backpack his Assault Crest and get a goddamn BKB himself, but hasn't really thought that was worthwhile. I guess Crystal Maiden has some room, but remember that every single player on Radiant has an Ags upgrade as well. All of them, except Alchemist could Ags upgrade himself for stats as well. In fact, he should probably do that right now if he's not going to buy a Moon Shard for Juggernaut.
Alright, the potential high ground push. My son's gonna wake me up in 3 hours.
Hey,
worth
tell
it.
Your son to learn to appreciate some college Dota.
Oh, my son appreciates it. He loves listening to LD cast. It's one of his favorites.
I said college Dota. Come on.
Well, I mean, we can dream. I mean, don't get me wrong. He doesn't watch the Dota. He likes to go to sleep when LD casts. He thinks the voice is soothing. I think it's awesome. Gold lead at 30,000, XP at 10, and it just continues to become more and more and more and more UBC sided. Yeah. Oh, it is Traeger, not Praetor. Sorry.
This is really a game where one bad engagement could swing it either way, and neither team where this is a guarantee. Like neither team even has multiple sets of racks out. Neither team even has multiple tier 3s down, right? This is still very close, despite 30,000 net worth in favor of UBC.
Right. So, okay, let's talk about Rutgers and their path to victory. What do you got?
Good high ground defense.
That's it, though, right? It's just like continue to siege.
That's literally all it is, yeah. Wait for the Aegis to expire in all cases and just high ground defend. Like, it's a while before this Roche is back on. It's about being patient, I think, at this point. They're not dying for gold.
I guess that's
everybody
true.
On their team has a lot of items.
I mean, are we at a point, though, where Radiant can just sit outside of the high ground and send in illusions to chip down the towers and continue to do so?
Not with the Tinker.
That's a fair point.
Because illusions can't BKB or magic immunity for the laser mischance, nor can they Manta or anything off. So with the Tinker, the illusions with Tinker Ags, those illusions basically do nothing.
All right, they look like they want to try to sneak something out here. They're trying to bait on Big Bun Theory. Everyone hidden inside of the smoke. Big Bun Theory saying, "Look at me, I'm all alone." And the guys from Rutgers saying, "Yeah, well, we don't buy that. We're not going to fall for that one, big guy." Kui looking to hide. He wants to maybe try to get a sneak Omni Slash. Someone walks into vision range. Nothing as of yet. The guys from Rutgers are going to play it safe, and they have a rule: don't cross the high ground line. Wait a minute, Tismic. Getting pinged by his team immediately. Don't cross the high ground line.
Yeah, they're being smart about it. And you got to commend their patience. Like a lot of teams in CSL would have just given this like, well, we'll just all in.
Yes,
And
but the big difference
lost.
between a normal CSL game and this one is that it's 63 minutes in. Anybody could win at this point with a bad throw, and there's $2,000 on the line. Now, I went to college. You went to college. I ate ramen and rice-a-roni for 4 years. $2,000 is
You ate while you were in college? Man.
Okay, well, have you seen me?
Man.
I had to, but I couldn't. Part of the problem is that I ate rice-a-roni for 4 freaking years. These guys would love $2,000. They could probably eat a steak. It'd be wonderful.
You know, fun story. I got into esports partially because I was introduced to it because my college roommate was an amateur StarCraft caster. Almost moved to Korea. That was my first serious exposure to esports. Since we're sitting here reminiscing about our ramen days, good old roommate. I don't want to say your name on stream, but good old buddy, if you're out there.
Yeah. Why would you say his name on stream when he casted publicly for years?
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know what I don't know what his casting handle was though.
Oh, you just knew that he was this nerdy guy who did casting.
I just lived with him while he did it. Yeah.
I dig it. And now look at you.
I
living the
never really
dream.
got into StarCraft 2 that much. You know what I mean? That was not. I was still like, even back then, I was a Dota guy.
No, don't get me.
Way before it was competitive.
I love Dota because it's hard strategically. I could never play StarCraft because it's so ridiculously difficult mechanically and technically. Yeah. So I have, when I meet somebody who says, yeah, I've got this, some badass rank in StarCraft 2, I have the utmost respect for what they do because it's not like...
It's a good balance of Twitch skill and tactical skill.
That's a really good way to put it.
I think that you don't get in a lot of games, but unfortunately it does not have in terms of game design sustainability. You know what I mean? Like it just... The meta is very, very stale. It's very hard to make a game like that evolve but remain balanced.
Yeah.
And also, you don't have team dynamics. Like, Dota is constantly fresh because UBC has a different team dynamic than RU does. And the way that those players interact make or break moments in this game. When you're playing 1v1 or 2v2 in StarCraft, it's very, very much less a team dynamic thing. It's really just about which players are the best mechanical players at the highest levels because everybody has a really good understanding of the game.
So that said, let's talk about understanding this game, and it is, I don't want to say it's a waiting game, but it's definitely, we've hit that critical mass. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just waiting to make someone else to make a mistake. All the buybacks are coming off a cooldown. I think it summed it up well.
Got cast onto Magnus. That is a fresh Moonshard, unrevealed refresher orb on Magnus.
Okay, well, let's do our Ags count. So there's an Ag Scepter now up on the CM, which
had Ags for
I
30
love.
minutes.
I love CM's Ags. I think is underrated. It's incredibly strong to spread that stun around or that lockdown.
The problem is, by the time you get it, normally everybody has match community, but not this game because nobody's building a PKB.
It's the greediest shit I've ever seen. Sorry, it's 2 o'clock. No, I'm not gonna swear. It's late night Dota, but VODs are never late night. That said, it's insanely far. I mean, this is like, what was the meta where we used to see games like this daily? It was like the worst time ever to be a caster because you never slept.
682.
That's what it was. Oh my god.
The opening of rubber band mechanics in Dota, or like the reintroduction of rubber band mechanics in Dota, where you would not play for the first 30 minutes. Like it was just like one person farms on the team and the other people tactically feed for 30 minutes, and then you get one team fight and you try to win the game from there. That was the patch where Black was on BG and was just killing it as a farming carry because like that's all the game was. It was reliance on a farming carry, and that's the one thing he was really, really good at that time.
And you've seen him. Like he has lost so much weight since they changed the patches. I mean, he just can't.
Just anxiety. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just. I thought it was because it was so much harder for him to get fed. Right, a little bit of gold, little gold farming spin there. Listen, my jokes aren't as crisp as they would normally be at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, that was good. I'll give that one to you.
All right, thank you.
That was pretty A+.
Oh, they're gonna try to kill Kui. Look at him. He's down here by himself. Here comes the rotation. The jump. They go with the chronosphere. They're gonna kill him. They want to kill him.
Yeah, he's dead. I mean, he's already dead.
Oh, that's a big. We're putting excitement into the game. They've got to defend the top, though, because the push is on. Or is the bottom push on? Both teams talking it out. He's up here. He's saying, I can defend. You turds keep pushing. Look at that. They turn back around. This is what we talk about with Rutgers. A little bit of slow to communicate. Sometimes the chain of command is a little bit contrived there, it feels like.
It feels like there isn't a chain of command. It feels like this is like the Valve model of a team where there's nobody in charge and everybody just kind of takes control of their own projects. But sometimes it means that nobody knows what the hell's going on. Yeah, that's what this feels like as a team, and it's worked out for them in a lot of cases. I'm not even sure I know what's
going on anymore. Is this real life? I keep flashing up the golden experience out of habit, but like legitimately, like why?
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. I guess we could take a look at items, just so everybody's sort of aware of where we're at. Now, Alchemist is carrying a Tome of Knowledge, which I think is a really great pickup for him.
He's had that for a while,
right?
And the funny thing is, he's had that for a while. And Crystal Maiden's only level 22. Like he can give it to her.
He's trolling her.
He's not going to.
He's like, I'll give you an axe, but I'm keeping this damn thing.
Yeah, this is from my knowledge. It's his diary.
And you can hear Kel screaming in the mic, $2,000, you son of a. No, this is mine. I keep this. You want a moonshard?
I'm waiting for Oracle to transition into a right clicker with a moonshard. He's got the lowest base attack time in the game. Like, we're getting there. This guy with a Mjolnir and a Crystallis and a Hurricane Pike, like, that would actually be a lot of damage with the Magnus as well. Because remember, Magnus's Ags makes it so that anybody who's empowered, if they're ranged, they have splash for half of the value of the cleave.
You know, I have a real problem with Faceless Void carrying a Mjolnir. I mean,
Why?
If it's the same Mjolnir that's famous for being Mjolnir, I don't think that somebody who devours like time itself should ever be allowed to carry the thing, right? He certainly lacks honor.
I mean,
just saying.
He's so powerful that even the hammer of the gods,
even the rules of Asgard do not apply to Faceless Void.
Well, we are clearly not fighting in Asgard, so maybe the rules of Asgard just don't apply here.
I mean, there's never really been detailed lore that says, by the way, Dota 2 does not exist within the realm of Asgard.
I mean, there's a god from Chinese mythology now in the game. There's a god from Roman mythology now in the game. There is not a god from Viking mythology. Wow, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? It is so late. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is here that, like, the players also have to deal with the sort of same mental situation that you find yourself in watching, which is, don't allow myself to languish.
That's the word. Wow, what is wrong with me?
Oh, you're looking for Norse that whole time?
I was looking for Norse that whole time.
I think I took a small nap.
This is just one of those days, man. Oh, yeah.
It's one of those mornings. But here, okay, so the push is on. Kui's out in front again. It looks like maybe Radiant's starting to feel the pressure of not doing anything. Roche is back, or is down. The Aegis is in hand.
Radiant's not going to over-engage on this. They're waiting for Roche.
Well, no, Roche is down. They got Roche. It's on Magnus.
Wow, I zoned out because I was looking for the word Norse. What a...
Yep. No, it's
how
on
good I am at this job.
71
minutes into this game. And finally, hey, look, a BKB is in the backpack of Juggernaut.
Ooh, well, that could be fun.
It only took 8,000 extra gold before he was willing to buy a BKB and put it in his backpack.
I'm surprised they don't have pocket couriers following them around at this point in the game.
I mean, they all have empty backpacks.
So they want to push. They've got the Aegis. Why isn't Big Bun Theory joining them to make this happen?
Because he's got boots of travel.
Okay.
He can come in anytime.
He's
trying to bring everything around so that they can split. Like, in an ideal world, he'll be able to chip one tower. Because they have a lot of trouble knocking a tower down, even with Aegis.
Right.
They have a lot of trouble knocking down tower because of the goddamn lasers. But if they're on opposite sides of the base, then the lasers can't hit everybody. So I think the plan is really just kind of split push around, chip damage on both sides, and really play the slow game. Unless Magnus can get just a perfect reverse polarity and he does have refresher, so it'd be a double reverse polarity.
Do you know what time zones these two schools are in?
I know at least one of them is Eastern. Rutgers and UBC. Rutgers is Eastern. I don't know where UBC is.
British Columbia.
Oh, that's Eastern too, isn't it? No, sorry, that's Western.
I'm not up on my Canadian geography, sadly enough. I grew up in Hawaii. They don't teach us
Yeah,
geography
British
there.
Columbia is like right north. It's just north of Washington.
Gotcha.
So yeah, no, I think Rutgers is an East Coast time zone. So they're feeling it the way we're feeling it, but Rutgers are probably absolutely fine.
Because they're young.
This game's stupid, Cow says. And remember, there is $400 per player on the line here. Like, the winner of this game goes from $100 winning to a minimum of $500 winning per player in scholarships, and will be one game away from being flown for a LAN final in Toronto.
They paused for a pee break.
You know what? This game is at 73 minutes, and they did not break between games. So
that's true. Well, you talk more about your qualifying for Toronto. You were on a good track there.
Yeah, but now I'm distracted by shit talking with the teams.
I can't help it.
I know. I like how you're like VODs are all the time. I swear, and I'm just pirate lexicon going crazy. Oh boy. Okay, so let's talk about item scaling progression. Other than the fact that I think that Oracle should go extreme hard right-click carry as soon as possible, because I think that would be absolutely amazing. Alchemist is starting to transition into right-click carry, but not really. He, at some point in time... No, he's not starting to transition at all. He just backpacked something and unbackpacked it later. Okay, so he's got 4,700 gold. That's actually not that much gold. What did he just spend it on? Are people getting moon shards? Alchemist has a moon shard. And an Ags now. Moonshard has been on the Magnus for a while. Yeah, everybody has everything they could possibly want, basically, from the Alchemist. Unless you want to put a Moonshard on the Oracle for his right-click carry build. That's inevitable.
I just really want to tell him. Okay, so I think Alchemist finally gave his book to CM, by the way.
I said, I just realized, because I looked over chat and I saw Greek gods suck. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I said Roman. Yeah, so I couldn't pull Norse. I mixed Roman and Greek up. This is not a great.
Roman and Greek are easy to mix up. They are very they're very similar in style, different names, but they all represent similar things. They stole a lot from each other. It's
easy because all the planets are Roman. So if it's not a planet, it's probably Greek. And if it's a moon, if it's a moon, then it's Roman. Like it's easy because of that. But I'm trying.
Well, if it's a moon, it's going to throw.
There's no IO in this game, Toffees.
Gold lead, Jesus. I don't even want to look. Why? Stop hitting that button. It's my default for shorter games. Queek farms the creeps in 2 hits. Not surprised. And let's see. Tismic is on the bottom lane. And now he's running back to base. This is the play-by-play you get at 73 minutes.
There's nothing to play-by-play at this point. So can we call this a draw? Like, Dyer's being really, really patient here. They are not going out there, not trying to get farm. If we were watching a pro game, almost every professional farming carry in the world would have died already trying to go out and sneak farm somewhere. And these guys are being, like, way more
disciplined,
careful and disciplined.
I'll say disciplined.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think this one was the word I was looking for, but my entire ability to speak is just crumbling from beneath my feet. Yeah, no, they're being way more disciplined than most pro players. So say what you will about the technical skill gaffes that we've seen throughout this series, like the patience that these players are showing is phenomenal. This game, in a large way, will probably come down to which team screws up first.
So I guess we just find other stuff to sort of comment on. Did you hear about that giant explosion at the French cheese factory? Happened earlier today. Yeah, I guess
at this point.
No, I guess it literally destroyed everything. All that was left was debris. I mean, that was solid. That was solid.
I like the immediate just double down. The joke. You're like, no, I'm not backing off of that.
Debris was good. That was great. That was great because I used the tree sawing one last week, so I can't use it this week. That's my favorite. Other stories. I got 2 concussions as a young man. That's interesting to me.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this. Did your face ever melt off?
No, okay, so funny story, though.
My face melted off.
So
once.
I will say it melted off. So when I got kicked in the face, like I smashed my head into the cinder, and so like the entire.
Okay, well, you say kicked in the face. Like you start the story as though like, oh, I was kicked in the face by a dude.
Like I was cage fighting.
You were kicked in the face by a bull.
Yeah,
right?
so
Like that's different than being kicked in the face by an order of magnitude. You really should start the story with I was kicked in the face by a bull, not
Okay.
so when I was kicked in the face.
I should start the story the right way, which was I was trying to impress a girl as a teenager and took up bull riding. I got kicked in the face, and it planted one on my side of my head in the cinder. And after I came back from the hemorrhaging and all the other stuff that happened and the concussions, my entire face was a scab. And then one morning, one night I went to sleep and everything was fine, and I was on tons of painkillers and stuff. I woke up the next morning and lost my mind because I looked down at my pillow and there was literally my face staring at me, and that was probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever experienced in my life. So yes, my face melted off, sort of.
When my face melted off and then scabbed over, I had that experience every day for. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. To be fair, only half, like only the right side of my.
Hold on, let's look at my. There's a smoke rotation. The guys are looking for a little bit of something. They want to make it happen. They managed to split off Purple. Purple's invisible. He wants to try to find someone. They're running around in a circle. And you know what? Nothing happens.
Yeah, they're gonna bail because the invisible Magnus made it so that their smoke, like they realized the smoke was lifted. They don't have a gem.
Why are you so smart, Magnus?
They have gems in the base, but nobody wants to carry it because they all have no inventory slot.
Right, they all have the sweet items. Get that courier, man. Buy that.
Oh my god. Abaddon's still on phase boots instead of travels. He needs this is the downside to that patience, right? If he had travels instead of phase boots, then he would have a spot for that gem, and they may have just killed the Magnus and won the game.
Or drop the TP for a little while. I mean, at the end of the day, like, where's
you cannot drop the TP.
I learned from Eternal Envy. Sometimes you don't carry the drop the TP. Envy taught me. Drop the TP. I learned it. I mean,
you are learning the wrong lessons from the right people.
Oh, wait a minute. The jelly bean on the run. No, he's too invisible. But this is a sign that they're getting that greed that we talk about. They want to slipping out there trying to find some stuff. It's just not working.
This is the point in the game where they just kind of have one person watching. They all sit in the fountain. One person watching the game. The rest of them open Rocket League or something.
This is the point in the game where I email my mother-in-law and tell her she's babysitting tomorrow when I fall asleep first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
What a week to have the flu.
Yeah, right. I'm also starting to feel a little under the weather, but that might just be the drain of the last 20 minutes of nothing. At the very least, normally when games go like 78 minutes, it's normally 78 minutes of slow siege, really tense slow siege.
Okay, so they're going in.
Anything could happen any moment.
So they're going. They found the road.
Broadcast this. Like it's going to take Roche. There's no hype in uncontested Roche. It's the third uncontested Roche we've seen.
I'm trying to find hype. Don't kill my joy.
I will kill everything you love, except your son.
They're picking up, because Casey White's like, I already got a cheese, bro. So Ko says, all right, I'll take another one. Whatever.
Okay, 2 cheeses and an Aegis.
They're going to be able to start their own cheese factory. Who cares about the debris?
Oh.
Thanks for bringing that around full circle, boys.
That was. I will say that was better.
Oh, look! They found someone! Magnus, you gotta run! He's not gonna get anywhere! He's dead! But he's still got a buyback in only 63
Unless
seconds.
Unless they get out and force a buyback, it does nothing.
Listen,
it's worth
give me this. Give me this.
I guess it's worth a little bit. They probably feel comfortable getting the Abaddon the space to farm out his Travs now. But he probably won't be able to because he still needs to hold on to buyback. Like, you can't really justify buying traps without buyback. And I don't think that he can farm that out in this amount of time.
Right.
So, really, that's a nothing burger of a play. A big old filling nothing burger of a play. Boy, I have, like, DAC reviews to do and stuff.
Oh, wait, there's a fight. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 chasing Queen in a circle. Queen turns back, wants to play. He's got some help. They got him. They're going after him. This is a juggernaut that's in trouble. No one's going to help him. He goes down. And it seems like
buyback, but they can force it.
Yeah, but UBC's getting impatient. UBC's getting impatient. They came out. They made a couple of potential mistakes here. The guy's trying to capitalize, but the Aegis is still in the hands of UBC. Don't forget that they can always bring their CM back to life with their Oracle. Oh, look at this. Alchemist is like, fine, I'll stall. Leads the fight down the middle. They can't push to get the Alchemist. They can't race him. He's too strong. RVN says, I'll delay, and they look like they want to go to the high ground. Starting to push up.
They have to at least force this buyback.
So they go in. They're going to start to push the buyback. Leaning onto the tower. Glyph is used. That's a good glyph. That's a good glyph get.
Oh, Magnus tried to pull somebody in from the outside.
Lion in some trouble. He's going to go down. Tismic has to walk away. They got the buyback from the Juggernaut, but Tismic's going to get locked up here. Chronosphere misses. That's a whiff. They got to run away. Run away! Retreat. And much like the French in every defense ever, they have to run.
Hey, sometimes the French just build a wall.
How many French does it take to defend Paris? We don't know. It's
More
never
than
been
they
done.
had?
We don't know. It's never been done. Storm Soldat, though, Oz gonna get away.
I love the irony of the French jokes because, like, one generation before us, the French were the single most intimidating land army in the history of mankind. And now we're like, yeah, the French, what a joke. It's funny how history works like that, huh?
Right?
I wonder how many generations it's going to be before people are like, the Americans.
I believe the 2016 election went ahead and solved that one.
Yeah, all right. That's fair, actually.
It's getting political. We'll pivot off of that and go to something else here. Any other interesting stories about concussions? I've had a few.
You got 6 minutes.
So I had the second concussion I ever had was the kicked in the head by a bull. The first one is because I'm an idiot. You ever play make believe with your?
No, wait. Let me stop you right there because you're implying that the second one wasn't because you're an idiot, which I disagree with on a fundamental level.
I think I did. I mean, I think that was just a bull being a dick. Let's be honest. Like he didn't have to do that. I was not being cruel. I was not trying to. Okay, I was riding. Okay, you're right. No, I was an idiot.
There you go. The full circle. I know that the brain damage from the concussion makes these thoughts a little slow, but I'm glad you got there. We're all very proud of you.
So the first one, as a young adult, I was playing, as one was wont to do as a young man, make-believe guns, like, the cowboys and Indian stuff that apparently you're not allowed to do anymore. We were playing with my friends and his older brothers, and my friend's dad built this super amazing treehouse in his backyard, which was super cool, except he built it way higher than someone should logically build a treehouse, and he gave up building it after the platform. He basically got to the part where he put railings in and then said F it and stopped working on the treehouse. So we go up there. In hindsight, I would never even.
It's a tree platform.
It's a tree. Yes.
It's like a floating dock.
Yes.
The kind of like rafts that you get in the ocean, but in a tree.
I thought of it more as Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back, but similar. So we're up there in Cloud City.
7, so of course you thought that to adult you, it was a safety hazard.
Absolutely. Yes. No, we thought it was the coolest. So I'm up there defending the high ground from his brother and his buddies trying to attack us with their fake guns. And one of them pops out, and he just he does this badass shoulder peek and gets me, right? Bam, headshot. And I am very dramatic, and I go, oh, and fake the death. But when I fake the death, I take a step backwards, and there's no railing on the treehouse. So I plummet something like 20 plus feet, land on my head, and I'm unconscious for a day and a half. Because guns.
I totally trust you're telling him the story, but with all the brain damage you've taken and the fact that you were very tiny, I've seen a lot of tree houses in my day. I don't think I've ever seen a tree house more than like 6 feet off the ground.
120%. Okay, I will say guaranteed 15 feet. Probably 20. I will Facebook that guy after this and be like, how tall was your dad's treehouse? And he's going to be like, it's too fucking tall. Guarantee that's what he's going to say. Because we almost died so many times.
I will point out that in terms of scientific rigors, too fucking tall is not an independently verifiable measurement. I'm not sure how much weight to put into that, but yeah.
I don't know. The Twitch is like, give them slack. It's 3M. I don't know if they're talking about our ridiculous discussion about how to keep the things moving, or if it's because the teams are missing some pretty important combos. But they're talking about that Faceless Void ult that completely
I think
whiffed.
they're saying give the players slack. They would never give us slack.
No, they wouldn't give us slack. They give us just enough slack to hang ourselves with.
Yeah, there you go. They'll help us into the tree.
All right, so
as your friend's dad did.
Here we. Oh, he just built a stupid ladder. Anyway, it was a terrible situation, but I loved going over there because that treehouse was dope. All right, we're gonna go high ground push. Tismic comes up to take the lead. He's gonna start to chip down. 1, 2, 3, 4, waiting for the perfect chronosphere. So much depends on it as he waits for his chance to come out here and make something happen. Sitting patiently, waiting, watching, hoping, praying. Still nothing.
And yeah, they can't over-engage. They just can't. With Magnus there especially. If Magnus were dead, that would be one thing. But he's not. And they really can't over-engage into him.
When the game's gotten to...
he has his Shadow Blade out instead of his Force Staff.
When the game's gotten to the point where Abaddon is your chipper. So they send him forward. He's just going to keep on chipping, using the Aphotic Shield and the robots to keep the creeps up as they slowly continue to chip everything down. Big Bun Theory is just so strong. He's got a Shadow Silver Edge in hiding. Refresher Orb on standby. 9-second BKV in his backpack. Moon Shards aplenty. Tismic again. They wait till everything comes off a cooldown. He goes back up, says, alright, well, I guess we'll chip the range racks first. Ko comes through, roots him, so he's a little extra damage. Not going to matter. I mean, I guess, can they just keep doing this?
Yeah, but they're not, like, the melee barracks is healing just about as fast as they're doing damage to it. So maybe they get a ranged barracks here, but the longer they do this, the more likely it is that Magnus gets the reverse polarity combo. So it's really dangerous to do a slow siege into this.
Tismic comes forward.
And there
There's the pushback, so he gets pulled, but it's only one. Will they let him die and just disengage here? Ultimate's going to get popped out. Storm's a little far forward. He could suffer. Omni finds it, or Omni/Slash finds him. Turns back around. They start to mow down the Abaddon. His ultimate is over. Everyone's together, though. This is your chance. The Chronosphere misses Big Bun Theory. This could be devastating. They ends up taking him off. We got the BKB pop by the Void. Buybacks abound as the Abaddon, and Abaddon's out. Wyvern trying to get back in. Lion goes down. Dieback from the Lion. And now everyone's on the run. Tinker's got to get back. Faceless Void as well. Big Bang Theory on the chase. And they are in... I think this could be some real trouble for them, potentially.
Abaddon has buyback. I don't think that they're really in a bad spot yet. I mean, this could be the predecessor of real trouble, but the real trouble hasn't come yet. Another Roche attempt is going to be here on the horizon. Presumably, the UBC try to use this to push in, but honestly, maybe they don't. Because the Tinker's so hard to push into.
Right. Well, they're going to start to go forward. KCY and Big Bun Thur going to lead the creep wave up the mid. They've got to try to resist. They just want to force the buybacks out right now, but they could potentially turn this into something if people aren't back in time to defend.
I mean, but
Hex comes out. They're pinging out Faceless Void. He manages to get away. Big Bun going to back off. Tinker's always here. The March of the Machines just so strong. Oh no. Alright, so the siege will continue as the smoke comes out from Radiant, hoping to catch Rutgers in a mistake, and that's really what this comes down to at this stage of the game. Who blinks first? And by that I mean not like blinks with the dagger, but like, you know, messes up because they're not looking at their screen.
Sometimes it's who blinks first, literally with the dagger.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Oh! They got the Lion! No buyback. That's 4v5 for the next 50 seconds. Big Bun thinks he wants to make something happen. They're going to move forward onto him. The laser does so much work. God, Egg's laser is a nightmare for these guys to deal with right now. Big Bun says, I'm just going to go for it anyway. Tismic comes forward. They're going to do it. The racks will finally go down. Glyph comes out to buy a little more time. They can't seem to stop it. In they play. They're going to lock up the Alk for a little while, but no one's around to really capitalize on it. BKB is popped. He's swapping his backpack while he's stunned, basically. Counter stun. Tismic's ultimate is going to run. Ko's got to be careful. Comes in deep. Wants to pop her ultimate. And now they're on the chase. They go for the Tinker. They got a big one. That's a huge grab for the Magnus, but here comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got the Chronosphere up. He catches 3, 4, 5 inside of it. Can they make something out of this? Please, God, do. The BKB is up. That's one kill. The buyback from the Magnus. Trying to finish up, but Bun Theory is putting in so much work. Tinker down. Abaddon down. Queen spin. The buyback is out from the Tinker. They go ahead and they kill the Faceless Void. His buyback is up, but the Chrono is down. Hex is there as they chase Big Bun backwards. Tismic, Storm Soldat trying to make it work. KCY is low and's got to go. In they come. The Hex is out. Nicely done to try and buy some space, but Tismic on the follow. Big Bun Theory is running slow, goes in Biz. Do they have the vision? No, he jukes back through the trees. They finish off the Oracle. They're following Big Bun. They throw down this. There's no help for him. He's on his own in every sense of the word. They're going to get the kill, but he's still got buyback. So, you know, it just continues to be what
There's
exactly
4
is.
buybacks on Radiant. So that ended up being very good for Radiant. But if they're forced to buy back, which they probably will be, it ends up being a bit of a push.
Yeah.
The only way that this
Two
ends
pushes.
right now is if Rutgers overextends.
Yeah.
Ultimately, for Rutgers, that's not that big of a deal. Like, they can wait for their buybacks to come back. They don't necessarily, like, they need to force the buybacks here, and they force one. If they can force the Alchemist, they can just back right up. Because they already have the Rax advantage on the side.
They're going to try to do some chips while they can. Oracle buyback from the Alchemist. They won't even stay. Glyph comes out, and they're gone.
Yeah, no reason to engage there. So now the mid lane is even. The buyback count is even. And neither team is really going to feel comfortable trying to make anything happen for the foreseeable future.
The upside is more stories about near-death Toffee's experiences. Or we talk about the time that at the Gland final last year, I stepped in human feces. That was cool.
What I never told you is that was my feces.
No, it wasn't. It was a homeless guy. You don't eat corn.
I eat corn.
Oh, maybe it was yours. You poop
Who
in the middle of the
doesn't
street?
eat corn? What is that?
I don't know. I just assumed you're not a corn person.
You know, there was actually a period in my life where I didn't eat any. Like, I didn't eat any corn, anything that it was derived from corn at all. But I'll eat, like, corn, the vegetable.
You're corn racist is what you are.
Yeah, it's, you know, corn killed my mother and raped my father, and I have a vengeance.
Whoa. That's deep. That's
Yeah.
heavy, man. Like, the band? You should report them for that.
There's a band called Corn Raped My Father and Killed My Mother, and I have a vengeance.
No, there's a band called Korn.
I was gonna say, that is a dark band. Now, that is metal. I've heard some metal band names in my day, but that is something special.
Well, Korn was pretty metal. I'll give them that. I can't. You don't know Korn? God, I'm so old.
I mean, I know. I wasn't a big Korn person, so like I know the band now that you mentioned, like the KO.
Yeah.
Band. Like, it's a '90s band. Like I know them, but I didn't really listen to them.
Well, ironic. KORN was also.
I don't feel like they stood the test of time by any means.
Well, I mean, did any scream band really spell? Slipknot's not winning Emmys. Okay, there's a big jump forward. They want to make a play, guys. People are getting impatient. There's the BKB pop. They're gonna send Alchemist in, but the Chronosphere comes out. This is quite impressive. Magnus goes down. Aegis gonna get popped. They still can't kill the Alchemist. Omni Slash doing some work in the background. Lots of damage coming out from the Juggernaut, but the turn back is here. Nice play. They keep the chase going. Ko's gotta run. The saves are real. Hex is out. That's going to be a death of Magnus, and he's not coming back. He does not have a buyback this time around. Storm chasing the Juggernaut out of base, but they catch him with the Yules. He's going to spin to try and get out. KCY's got to put himself in a dangerous position. The chase continues. There's the ultimate from Ko. And again, they go chaotic. When he does it, they don't know what to do. They lose the Abaddon. They lose the Lion. They didn't have to overextend. They just had to turn around and try to kill KCY. KCY now on the chase, wants to go here. They split the fight, though. Storm's running from Big Bun Theory. This is going to be the end, potentially, as Taker goes down with no buyback. No one's there to defend the tower. They stop chasing immediately and say, for the love of God, go get the objectives. Faceless Void doing what he can. He can't do much. He's locked in place. He's stalled up. He's going to have to run back to bases. They can now go after. Big Bun Theory comes out, says that tower is mine. It will be mine. Oh, yes, it will be mine. 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to watch. He has no choice but to try and make something happen. Gets the stun, pops the BKB, but death is his. The end is nigh. We did it, team. 94 minutes. UBC catches Rutgers with their pants down, and in one hell of a battle, earns their way to the Elite Eight. $2,000 in the coffers. My name's Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. You can find this man at The Wonder Cow. You can find all of us at C Star League. Gorgon, do you have a band or player of the game or a band moment of the game? My moment of the game is the end.
My moment of the game is going to be that disjoint from the Alchemist on the Finger of Death. That saved them the game and ultimately brought them back into the game in a moment that the game should have ended, and UBC Esports are now going to move on.
UBC goes through. They did a great job. They fought back. They didn't lose their temperance. Congratulations to them, and a big thank you to Band, a social app of CSL, Asus Republica Gamers, and Twitch for making it all possible. Guys, Toronto is just around the corner, and the Elite Eight is filling up. We'll be back here every Tuesday and Thursday, bringing you the best in playoff action. But that is it for tonight. Enjoy some music, and thank the Lord, it's finally over. Toffee's out.